Attention business owners, this is your captain speaking. Fasten your seatbelts as we prepare your business to take off. Hi, I'm Joe, your captain of online reviews. Give me a thumbs up if your reputation is important to your business success. Excellent, thank you, and welcome on board. Today, online reviews tell your prospects about the quality of services that you provide. As a matter of fact, online reviews are the new word-of-mouth advertising, so if you don't have a flight plan in place to get 5-star reviews, your reputation could be hijacked by one bad review, crashing your business. So what we do is we put you in the cockpit with our automation called Give Me a Thumbs Up. Our technology can actually predict whether your clients will write a good review or a bad review before we even ask them. So if you'd like to learn more about this technology, book your flight with Captain Joe today so that tomorrow you can sit back, relax, and watch your 5-star business take off.
Into a real fight wasn't right. Where can she dream here?
I think it's kind of funny every time that I listen to that song, he goes for that little wobble in his voice, and I'm thinking to myself, boy, I wish I could hit that note, and instead I just sound like a frog that's kind of choking on something. So you know, Theron, you've definitely your job is safe, brother. You won't ever hear me trying to take your job, that's for sure. Hey everybody, my name is Zach Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the pACT channels. Tonight is our weekly visit with Mr. Les Simpson from 3 Ways to Banking and so much more. Look, this guy is busier than anybody. He's got his hands in so much stuff, so much good, so many good things, and it's amazing. All that he knows, all of the just look. I couldn't imagine trying to shove this much information into my head. So then again, you know, there's not a lot of room in my head. There's all those bricks in there. So had a great week. This weekend got to go and do one of the things I love the most. I got to go watch hockey. Hockey. We went to go watch the second ever game for the Greeley Grit. I was gonna say Grills. It's the Greeley Grit. It's a brand new hockey team. It is a juniors program, which is one of the steps up. It's below the Colorado Eagles, and these are kids that have not yet reached the age to where they can be drafted. So these are kids from everywhere that are playing organized hockey. And when I say everywhere, I mean these are kids from Canada and from out east, Boston area, all the way to foreign countries. These are kids that very, very talented, and they're looking to make it. And truth is, some of them will, some of them will not. But all of them are out there to entertain you and try to teach other kids how to play this wonderful game of hockey. So I'm just asking everybody to do me a huge favor and support any local teams that you have. We are working right now to get the leveling right, get everything right to go to work with Future Legends Field Complex in Windsor, which is the home of the Northern Colorado Owls, and so much more wonderful, wonderful things that they're doing out there with kids. They've got a complex in there for teams when they come to visit, like little league teams. Okay, the little league teams aren't going to have to sleep in, a cramped bus or ruin mom and dad's vacation because mom and dad have to use their vacation. There's a complex there. There's dorms there that are, just look, go to Future Complex Field, and you can see what's coming. It's going to have youth soccer pitches. It's going to have baseball fields. These kids are going to get to talk to these players. The girls are going to have players that they can look up to and they can mentor and stuff like that. It's such a wonderful program, and they are all owned by. They have some ex-Major League Baseball players involved. Look, for all you Rocky followers, Ryan Spielborgs is part of this team, okay? And it's so funny because when I was talking to the owner, I was telling him about how my son and I, the first experience we had with Spielborgs is when Spielborgs came up to bat, and I think they took out Todd Helton and they put Spilly in. And I remember sitting there with my son and saying, what the hell are they doing? They're taking out one of the best players in the game for this Ryan Spielborgs. I didn't even know his name. Okay? Didn't know his name. Didn't know nothing about him. Kid comes up, hits 2 RBIs, wins the game. So for the rest of that year, and I think it was all of next year, every time he came up to bat, my son and I would, what the hell are they doing bringing up this Spielborgs? trying to encourage him on because it was such a great thing. One of the reasons why I love these players that they're bringing up is because Spielborgs is one of those players that he wasn't a superstar. He had to work his butt off for everything he did. Okay, he didn't have like the talents of a Tulowitzki, of some of these younger players, superstars that the Rockies have had. One of the players that is part of the Grit is, I'm very familiar with him. Most of you guys know I'm a Devils fan, New Jersey Devils fan. David Clarkson was a longtime New Jersey Devil. He was an undrafted free agent. Lou Lamoriello said, you know what? We're not going to draft you, but we're going to invite you into camp. David took that chance, and he was the grittiest of all players I have ever watched in my life. This kid worked his butt off. He didn't deserve anything. He earned everything. He ended up getting himself a max contract with the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'll never forgive you for that, David. Yeah, I will. I don't care. But the thing is that, he earned it. He went out there and he fought for it. And these are the kind of people that we need to be making sure our kids see. Look, there's talent everywhere. There's nothing wrong with our kids seeing, a Peyton Manning and seeing the success he has and the hard work he does. But it's a different type of work when someone like a Ryan Spielbergs or a David Clarkson, when your kids see the level of effort that they have to put out there, because they don't have that God-given gift, they have to work at it. Now, Ryan Spielbergs has a God-given gift to talk. I'm going to tell you this. He is one of the best sideline reporters in all of baseball. I've watched a lot of baseball in my days, and there is nobody as good at it as that man is. So there are a lot of great sports coming here to Northern Colorado, and we are blessed in our area to have them here. And we at Community Pay It Forward are blessed to be talking to them, and hopefully here real soon we're going to be announcing some great things with them. So stay put with this. This time next month, we're going to be announcing our family adoption for the holidays. This time it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to dedicate a page to where if you are a family that needs help, we're going to ask you to tell us what you need, tell us where you're at, and then we're going to put it out there for the world to see. And then we're going to ask people from around the country to say, you know what, we'll adopt this family of 4. We'll get them gifts and food, and we'll get them some other stuff. We're going to be doing this, and we're going to give the families, we're going to give free pub and a huge push to the families who can support other families who are out there doing miraculous things, trying to help people. And we're going to try to help out some families through this Christmas, because unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to have our 501c3 for Community Dare to Care yet. Next year, we're working real hard to have it by next year, though. So, and one of the ways that we're going to get that 501c3, one of the ways that we're going to obtain this 501c3 is by having our wonderful partners like our great friend, platinum partner, and fantastic individual. I'd like to say it in a good way. Our Mr. Know It Most. I don't want to say know it all, but Mr. Know It Most. How does that sound, Les?
No, I've never had a title like that.
Well, if there's somebody who knows, and it's funny because, you can tell people that, I know a little about I know a lot about a little and a little about nothing.
Yeah.
Or a lot about nothing. And you are a guy who knows a lot about a lot. So you really do. You have your hands in a lot of areas right now. But the thing that you're working with right now the most is this 3 ways to banking.
That's correct.
For those of you who have not been here before, Les, why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. Actually, I've got a PowerPoint that I'm going to.
That's perfect. That is perfect.
And so we'll share here.
While Les is bringing this up, I'd like to bring attention to the QR code up in the corner. It's got some funny looking face in it. That is For My card. You can get a hold of me at For My card. It's above Les's head actually this time, but it's above Les's head. If you just scan that code, you've got my phone number, you've got my email addresses, the websites, and everything you need to know. So utilize that code and you can get a hold of us and ask us any questions. So just wanted to get that out there.
Let's see, where is it here?
Those things always seem to hide from you, don't they?
Yeah, they sure do. Let's see, there it is. Can you see that?
Yeah, I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to put it on a full screen. I'm going to take us off the screen and just put the PowerPoint on the full screen. They can still hear you and everything.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah, we can still hear you, but now they can see it better.
Okay. This is especially for two areas tonight. One, if you own a nonprofit, you really want to think about this. The second is if you're an employer and have employees. The reason a business that has employees, and I'm really concentrating in three areas, but if you're not fitting here, it works for you. And that is restaurants, new automobile dealerships, and real estate brokers. And the reason I state that is these are the people, first off, that have employees. And second, they have a lot of clients that they work personally with. On the restaurants, I'm talking ones that sit down for half hour to an hour and a half and have a nice dinner. Because these are the ones that have the money that we want to double their income. For the employees, they're the ones that, unfortunately, the federal government did a survey and found that 40% of Americans, if they needed it today, they could not come up with a $400 emergency fund. And employers now, with what I'm going to show you tonight, will actually be able to increase their buying power, double it, without, even if they don't have a budget for raising their wages. And so employers that really care about their employees are going to really be able to do something about it. And the employees that care about other employees are going to be able to refer people to it. It doesn't have to be in your company. You can refer to other companies. If they're not interested in helping, you can help them. To explain, we're now going to be looking at serious banking changes forever. If you'll notice this green card here, that's what we're going to be talking about, and an app. Now, first off, again, as I mentioned, this is a phenomenal employee benefit. If you can imagine, without increasing their wages, you help your employees increase their double their buying power. How much loyalty do you think they would give you? And customer rewards. This is going to be a huge ability for a company to bring in customer acquisition and community fundraising. That's what I mentioned. Right now is the time, if you own a nonprofit, to get into this, because in November, when we go launch the franchises, you'll be actually able to help your own franchise or nonprofit. And all three of these will generate revenue. So can you imagine helping your employees for no money, and they get tremendous benefit and you profit? Now, I want you to think about something. And most people aren't aware of this. I know I wasn't. Do you realize there's 155 million people in this country a week that use their debit cards? Folks, you have a lot of employees that are in that circumstance. But my question is, do they get any benefit of using it besides the fact not paying interest on a credit card?
You know what's funny, Les, when you say that, it makes me think. I use my debit card almost every day, at least 2 or 3 times a day.
Yep. And
So,
yep, you're in the regular, because 25 swipes a month is the average person, and they're spending thousands, but they're not getting any benefit from it. And what we're going to show you is, especially as an individual, you can have this for $25. As a company, you can have for $4.95, and you can allow all your employees to double that buying power when they're using a debit card. Now, let's go into a little bit of banking history. I'm going to just end up on this here, because the rest of it, if you want to read about it and so forth, it's quite an interesting banking history. But right now, we're up to the point where banking is digital. only 20% of the people go into a physical bank these days. And so it's all online or mobile. And so that's why this timing of this evolution of banking is just perfect. And again, any employer, actually the next one. And all you need to do is take some of your spending money that you're doing on your bank right now on your debit card and transfer it to a small insured checking account that we work with. And it's FDIC insured. It's just a checking account, just like yours. The difference is you're going to send some of it over here. Might be 25, might be 10,000. It all depends on what you, how much you spend. And you're going to get a Visa card that looks like this. Now, first off, this is perfect for a family. The reason I state this is 5 people can be on this card on one account. Do you have college kids that you really wonder what the heck how they're spending the money and what they're spending it on? Each person with this card, you can put a daily limit. Let's say in college, you can put $25, $30 daily limit. And then you get a text on every single thing they spend. So your children end up learning to budget. And every time they spend something, for instance, they go out and fill their gas tank for $70, they now have 70 Z-Bucks. If they're entertaining their friends at the bar and $100, they now have 100 Z-Bucks. So money no longer you have to cry about when you use it, because now it has a second purpose. And what I'm talking about is Z-Bucks. And to explain what Z-Bucks are and what they buy, every single time you swipe the card and spend $1, you're going to get $1 equivalent Z-Buck. And this is what it buys. First off, we're going to have an e-commerce website that is bigger than anything. And it's good. All these different things will be on it. And this is just a small sample of it. Everything you need all day long will be on this. Everything from diapers to Rolexes for 30 to 50% off. And that's what I'm talking about, double their money back. Restate that, double their buying power, not double their money back, double their buying power. And on all these, now everybody asks us, okay, we've seen these types of sites before, overstock and all this other stuff. What kind of quality are we talking about? And are they surplus, whatever? These are the companies that have already signed up for their top of the line merchandise to be on there. Now, up here, if you're a sportsman, we've got Spalding, we've got Wilson, we've got TaylorMade. If you're a golfer, for tools, Black & Decker. If you're a car enthusiast, Napa. If you're electronics, Samsung, LG, Vizio. Need some kitchen appliances, KitchenAid. Over here, if you want to be a little extravagant, you can go Gucci or Rolex, Ralph Lauren. All the different things will be in there. And this is just a small smattering of the companies that's going to be in there in November. And each one of them are going to have hundreds of products. So everything you buy daily will be in there. Now, to give you an idea of what those Z-Bucks do. Let's say you need a pair of shoes. You're looking at Reebok, you're looking at Nike, you're looking at Adidas. And you look on Amazon, they're $100. You look at your local store, they're $100. Anywhere you look, they're $100. With us, you're going to be able to spend 25 Z-Bucks. So the next time you fill your gas tank and it costs you $50, you'll know you have 50 Z-Bucks. So you can go on here, and the second time around, you get to double your buying power. So the shoes actually only cost 75 cash and 25 Z-Bucks. Right now, the electric bikes are the big thing. A $699 electric bike, again, $245 is Z-Bucks. So you went out to dinner and you filled your gas tank, And if you get in before November 15th, then we give you double Z-Bucks. So you only paid $454 for this $700 item. And let's get down to practical stuff that young families need all the time, diapers. And what I mean by that is right now you go out and buy a box of diapers, it's $53. Boy, that hurts. Boy, that hurts a young family. And with us, you're going to be able to have 27 Z-Bucks and $26. Now,
I'm not a mathematician, Les, but that looks like half off to me.
Exactly. And now I got a question for you. When you end up having this in your family, how many other women is that lady going to talk to? And refer more people to it. And when you do that and refer people in, and again, the membership is $25. And so, and that just keeps the website going. And for people to get in before November, it's a one-time 25. And for people that don't, it's 25 a year. I mean, it really breaks the bank. And so it's very affordable, and you're going to be referring other people to it all the time. And when somebody comes in on what you have done, you get 500 Z-Bucks. And so some people, if they go out and invite their fraternity and get 20, we've got 20 times 10,000 Z-Bucks, and I'll show you what you can use that for. Now, the other thing we will have is every day we're going to have flash sales. Now, your money's no good here. Only Z-Bucks. Can you imagine getting a pair of Ray-Ban sunglasses for 120 Z-Bucks? You went out and had dinner, the $100, you got 200 Z-Bucks. Now you get Ray-Bans for a $10 shipping charge. Or a laptop if you're going to college. And 1,100 Z-Bucks. Can you imagine what that's going to save your parents? And the lady that really wants to be a little fashion here, a Louis Vuitton bag, 2,300 Z-Bucks. They paid $40 for shipment. And so all this is going to happen every day. And this shows some happy people that did some Z-Bucks and the electronic bike here. And so this is going to be a reality. Every single thing you need is going to be on this e-commerce website. Now, the other part is, we found out 2 weeks ago is we are going to be the premier source for vacation destinations. Top hotels will be 30 to 65% off. Resort condos, tours. We have 3 cruise lines that have signed up, and all of this 30 to 50% off. So the normal person now, instead of working all the time and not having any money for vacations, will be able to do it. That's the one thing. To tell you who's behind this, one gentleman name is Pete. He's been in banking for 40 years. He was in, so you just know he knows what he's doing on the banking side. He was in Australia for 30 years, came to the United States 10 years ago, and he's such an expert that first off, he's the president of the Bankers Association. Can you think of Ozzy being president of the Bankers Association? But he's an expert. They hire him to go into banks and turn them around. And even the big banks, Chase and all the different ones, hiring him to turn branches around. So he knows what he's doing, and on the banking side. And so this is going to be available. In fact, if you get in and you start building Z-Bucks, this is what you're going to be able to do. We have our first cruise into the Bahamas, December 7th through 10th, that will only be paid by Z-Bucks. And the registration for that is going to start next week. And so you could take your family and for Z-Bucks. Now, the next thing that kind of blows people's minds. If a person doesn't have $400 emergency fund, how much savings do you think they have? Not much. Right?
Yeah, probably not a lot. Not a lot.
Well, now we're going to give them automatic savings. What I mean by that is when they take our card into Walmart, Amazon, Lowe's, hundreds of different retailers, every time they swipe their card and buy something, 1 to 3% of that transaction is going to go into an automatic savings account. And every time they buy something on the Z Club, 2% is going to go into their automatic savings account. And if you've ever been in a situation where we used to throw our change in a jar and then, 2 or 3 months later, break it out and get something special, with this card, you're going to be able to do that. Let's say the transaction is $10. If at that time you feel, okay, I want to save $2, you're going to be able to put $2 more on that, which will be your money you're saving into this account. Now you're going to ask, why would I want to do that? We're going to have, this is going to go into real estate investment trusts. Now, for you folks that don't know anything about that, that is very good return. And this is set up basically for retirement. Now you can get the money if you have to, but at the same time, it's designed to be there for your retirement, for the people that can't save anything. These people really care about the people that, the little guy that needs help. And I mentioned every time you refer somebody and they get on, you get 500 Z-Bucks. And again, the cost of membership at this time is $25 if you join before November, one time. Now, every year for the other people will be $25. Again, breaks the bank. But every time you renew or every year that comes around, you get 500 Z-Bucks. Now, the next part I'm going to go into is what businesses are going to be able to benefit. We've been talking about everybody benefit as individuals, whether you're a business owner, an employer, or just a soccer mom. But now we're going to talk about what businesses get out of this. For $495, an employer can become a franchise. And when they do that, they can give their employees the membership for $25. But now what do they get out of it? Besides happy employees. Happy employees are always good, but they always want to, okay, if I'm going to take the time to do this, what am I going to get out of it besides that? And a digital branch office, a DBO, will be available to business owners, booster clubs, nonprofits, influencers. And what is that? That means that you have a digital branch office in your company. And with that, you can accumulate customers and earn revenue. We'll get into that. Share in the banking fee business. I don't know if you ever thought about it when you look into even Denver, those big skyscrapers, most of them are owned by banks or insurance companies. I don't know if you're aware of that. And then other people lease from them. The reason is the profits are massive. Well, now the business is going to be able to take part in that. Every time a merchant, you swipe a card at a merchant, they're charged 2-4%, all depends. And now part of that is going to go in your pocket as a business owner. And that's what the new franchise is. The new face of banking is the ability for anyone that puts out $4.95 and doesn't have a criminal record can be in business. So if you know anybody that wants in business, $4.95 is pretty inexpensive. And when I show you the benefits to that, money-wise, you're going to realize it's very unbelievable opportunity at this point. And you do generate significant monthly income because what are you, whenever you're in business, you want a consumable item that people have to do. Well, this is about as consumable item as it gets, spending. And so when they sign up for the card at $25, then anywhere they swipe that card, anywhere in the world Visa accepted, you get paid. And plus, there is no operations. Your only job as a business is to refer people to become a member. That's it. You don't have to run anything. Our banks do that. So it's kind of basically like having a national ATM network. And every time somebody uses it, ka-ching, you get paid. Well, this is even better because it doesn't need to be an ATM network. They could buy Starbucks. They can buy their next vacation for $5,000 and think about getting paid by all the people that spend a lot of money. So you now have your own network. And again, it's only $4.95 plus $50 a month. Now, there are some very special, what we call innovator. This has been in operation. We went soft launch 4 months ago, and we have very special incentives for people to help build this before November. And I'm going to explain what that is. If you get in before October 1st at midnight, you're going to be able to get your money back. And you get, I'll explain, get your money back, eliminate this $50 a month. And instead of having a 10% franchise fee, you'll have 1%, which I'll explain. And then, of course, you get the 500 Z-Bucks awarded per week until, to explain what they're talking about here. We expected 5,000 to 7,000 people signing up. So we hired a banking platform to take care of that. Folks, we have 25,000 that have signed up. And so we kind of blew out this banking platform that we rented because we knew we were going to have to build, but we didn't know this fast. So right now there is no swiping of the card. But because of that, they're given 500 Z-Bucks every single week until the new bank platform comes. And we're told that'll be by the September 30th. So you get double Z-Bucks when you join, and that's going to be for a full year. Marketing and technical support, DBO training, participate in the revenue plan, and I'll explain some of that next. So an example of commissions from all your employees, plus your customers. Erica is the DBO. She signed up all of these people as members. She's getting $9 a month. Now, $9 a month, it doesn't sound much, but think if you add 10 of these a month, especially restaurants, how many customers are going to come in? And the reason I said sit down restaurants where they're there for an hour, the waitress will give them a tablet. There will be a 5-minute video on it. They sign up, and then the restaurant's going to get paid forever on it. Same way, that's the reason I mentioned as far as new car dealerships, needless to say, it takes a while. Once you choose your car and so forth, give it a 5-minute tablet. Plus, there's going to be business owners that say, hey, I want to give this to my employees too. So you sign them up for $4.95. And then pretty soon, their employees tell other people. Folks, once you have 3 DBOs or 20 members, you become a branch manager and you get your $500 back. And the 2 ways to become a manager, like I said, is to 3 DBOs for $4.95 or 20 members. And how many members do you think you can sign up at $25?
So and that right there means that if you can get 3 people working underneath you, you're doing this for free.
Yeah.
You've earned your money back, and that means that you're earning nothing. You're earning money without paying anything.
Exactly.
Okay.
And to explain, next I'm going to talk to you about community bonus. If you do this within the first 30 days, you're going to have a monthly income of $500 per month, plus you get all your money back. If you do it after 30 days, then you're going to have 250 a month, which still is nice because 250 in 2 months, it's paid it back. So this is the only business that we know of that'll make you cash flow positive, not just your money back, but within 30 days. And it goes 10 levels. And so you sign up the DBOs, they sign up their DBOs, it goes 10 levels. And so you can imagine with just this here, 1025 a month, multiply that by it goes 10 levels. So needless to say, it can add up mighty quick. I can't give numbers besides this because that's the Federal Trade Commission won't allow it. We can't entice people by money. All we can tell is what actually is. And then you get paid for bringing in DBOs. And for every DBO that stays active, which is with 3 members, then you get paid every month for that. And there's others there that I won't go into. If you want to contact me, I'll go into more detail. But I don't want to, it can get complicated if you don't understand the terminology. But this is the one I really want to show you. Community revenue. Every single person that gets in this and every single swipe that is made on their cards, a percentage is going to go into the community revenue bonus. And every time somebody buys from the Z Club, part of it's going to go in here. Manager, again, is 3 DBOs or 20 members. And so you get 250 if you done it taken longer than 30 days, 500 otherwise. But here's what it really gets interesting. 3 managers, you help them get 3 managers apiece. Then you're a senior manager. Then it goes up to 1,500 monthly, period, forever. Now you help those 3 get 3, and this kind of money you're talking about. Folks, this can be done in just a matter of months. Easy. We have people doing this in 3 months. And in fact, we have people doing this. And what it comes down to, that if you have 200, only 231 people in your organization, managers making managers, then you're getting this a month. Just from the community revenue. That does not include the commissions, and that does not include getting paid for setting up DBOs. This is a business that we have thousands of people in network marketing coming over to us because this is unheard of. The fact that you get paid every time somebody spends something. And this is an example of a manager's revenue. Now, this one did not make it in 30 days. So for 60 card members spending $2,500 a month, $90 a month. The community revenue is $250 because they didn't do it in 30 days. And then the leadership grants of signing up DBOs and so forth comes to this. So it's $470. You could easily be doing that in a month or 60 days. But again, I have to be careful here. I can't give predictions. But again, if you did do it within 30 days, you add another $250 to this. Now, here is the thing that's going on right now. If you get in as a DBO before October 1st, midnight, then you have the opportunity of eliminating, and you have 30 days to do it. So you get in by October 1st. You have 30 days or October 31st to get the 20 TCMs or the 3 DBOs. If that happens, first off, you're going to get your $495 back. And then you're going to get $500 a month forever. The $50 technology fee is waived. And of course, you have the 500 Z-Bucks. and if after 30 days, then you'll get $250 a month. And let's see, what they're saying here is however many DBOs you get in the future, if you had 231, you multiply it depending upon what level you're at. You get anywhere from $2.50 for every single DBO that is in your team, or presidents get $10. So if you multiply 231 times 10, that is your monthly income just on that. And of course, it's going to grow from there. We launch in November. And the other thing to let you know, we're already United States Chamber of Commerce, the National Restaurant Association. I can't go into too much of this. They've kind of taken it off because, again, we can't entice you. But how much does a regular franchise cost? A franchise costs from $25,000 to $250,000. A McDonald's is $1.2 million. This is what you have to do with a regular franchise. You have to go to training for 3 to 4 months before it's yours. And then franchise expenses $1,000 a month. And then you have to hire staff, replacing staff, monthly rent, no time off. That's owning a franchise. You have to also building lease, employees, inventory, accounting. With us, all you do is $500 to start, and all you do is refer people. You don't have employees, you don't have all these costs, and this is pure profit. And with Friend, we're going to have videos that run all the time in restaurants and so forth, so they can see it. This is about as easy as it gets, but at the same time, it's got unbelievable possibilities. What I'm really after, but especially your nonprofit owners, get in now, because then you can sign up your own nonprofit. If your idea was for the nonprofit and you're the president or whatever, get in now. Or if you know nonprofits, you can support as many as you want. And all their members are going to, and I don't know the details yet, they're going to tell us in November how it works. But all of their supporters, the nonprofit gets money from, and you get the same amount. So there's going to be people that just are able to support all the nonprofits they never were able to before. Questions?
Yeah, I've got 2 of them right now.
Okay.
A gentleman named Jeff asked, is there any monthly fee for owning your card?
No, not for the card. It's an annual fee of $25. Unless you get in before November, then it's a one-time $25.
Okay. And then Elisa wanted to know, so if I use this card, I can pay my bills and I will earn Z-Bucks. If that's all I use this card for, is say I deposit, say somebody comes in and they deposit, $300 a month on this card. They take and transfer it from their Chase Bank account. They transfer it to their Z card. They can pay their bills, the $300, or maybe even pay their mortgage every month at $1,000, and they would earn those Z-Bucks that they can use towards other things, correct?
That is correct. In fact, we just paid our property taxes of $3,000, and since we already signed up, we have 6,000 Z-Bucks just from that.
So, I mean, it is truly one of the easiest ways in the world to take in and earn a little bit of bonus money. And those flash sales, I mean, let's be honest, those flash sales, you pay your rent for a couple months, you're going to be able to get some really, really nice things, or even go on that cruise.
Exactly.
I would be up for trying to go on that cruise, except for I'm expecting a grandchild at that time. So we're gonna there's no cruises in Kansas, but you know, I wouldn't miss that for the world. So,
Oh, I
um,
understand. Sure.
but you know, but I will sure try to be there next year for that. So,
And also, you're able to give Z-Bucks. So we have grandparents that are signing up. Of course, they have more expenses than their grandchildren. And so they will be giving Z-Bucks for Christmas presents.
this is kind of one of those things. I used to work at a trash company, a very, very large waste company. They like to manage your waste. Let's just put it that way. And what they did is they took and you earned points. Very, very similar to what's going on here, correct?
Yep. Except for the fact it's everywhere you purchase.
And the employees actually can really control the employee doesn't have to go and work an extra shift or something to earn 100 points. He just pays $100 bill or makes a purchase for $100 and he gets those points that he can earn some really nice stuff.
That's correct.
You know, Les, this is so fantastic. And I love the way that, you know, with a nonprofit can really fund itself by helping out people.
Yep.
Because, you know, we all see these bank presidents go out and they get into their Jaguars and all this other stuff. You can be that person.
Yep.
It doesn't, you know, you can be the leader of your own bank right here.
Exactly. And what's really neat is the nonprofits now can go to people with real money and say, we can get you the finest resorts for 30% off if you use this card.
There are weekly meetings that people who are interested in this they can join, right?
Yes. And the Tuesday and well, actually tomorrow, no, this is Wednesday. The Tuesday and Thursday evening at 7 Mountain, if you go transactcard.live, then there's presentations by some of the top people. And that's one of the things that even when you get into this, you don't have to be the salesman unless you want to. I mean, I was a national trainer for GE Capital. I love educating and training. A lot of people don't. Then they just send it to our experts. They educate them, and then they just sign up on their website.
Well, and let's be honest here. If you are taking and you're getting some of the benefits from these things, the people around you, they're going to see some of this. And Les, this is your website. This is 3waystobanking.com right here. You can just take and you can click on the volume and listen to what some of the people are saying. But this is going to, this is going to explain a lot about what's going on. Your Z Club, your new online marketplace, and it's a very let me tell you this. It's a very, very simple application that you go through. They've ran into a glitch or two, but they're working real hard to go out and getting that worked out. But the application is so extremely simple and getting it going. And look, let's be honest, with Christmas coming up, imagine how much money you could save yourself. Okay. If you start shopping for Christmas products in December, because you get to shop with those Reebok and Nike. I saw Nike up there. If somebody's in Nike Golf, look, you need a discount. Nike Golf to me, Les, is almost like Harley Davidson. The HD actually stands for $100 because you can't buy a hub tire cap for under $100 at Harley Davidson. If it's got that logo on it, you're spending that money. So, but once again, this is Les's website, so you can see all the information that's on here. Here we talk about the two types of memberships. And once again, for the month of until the beginning of October, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful program for the digital branch office, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So we definitely encourage you to go on here and look around. You need any of the financials are not, I'm sorry, the legalese. It's right here on the bottom of your website, and everybody can look around. But always the best thing to do is contact Les at 303-579-6881. That's 303-579-6881, or shoot him an email, Les at 3waystobanking.com. You get a hold of him, he can answer all of your questions. And if he can't answer your question right away, I'm damn sure he can go and ask somebody about it, right?
You bet.
You know, I told you this morning, Les, that I've had two ladies who have approached me about this wonderful, wonderful idea. And before they even pitched what it was, I guessed what it was. I was like, this is about the Z-Bucks, isn't it? And they were like, yeah. And I'm like, hey, I've been listening, I've been hearing about these Z-Bucks now for about 3 months. So, you're not telling me anything new. I already knew about it. So I kind of did the straightening of my tie thing. And I'm like, yeah, I'm already up on all this. So, and it's amazing. The one thing that I do want to say about that is that both of the ladies brought up how beneficial this can be for somebody who's looking for a side gig or somebody who's running a nonprofit, and how much it could truly help in that program. This is a company that, look, they are trying to use what they've got to support other people, right?
Exactly.
So, but
in November, we're also going to have a new position called a Go. And what that is, for $35, you can actually go out and sign up members, and you get $2.50 of the 25, plus you get 20 basis points. So instead of the $1.50, you'll get $6 for everybody that spends $2,500. And when people refer that, and so it's really made for the soccer mom that wants to make $600 or $800 a month and doesn't want to sign up companies or help nonprofits. And it's also will be a way for people to get their feet wet, because for $35, they can go out and sign up these people, and they say, well, this is fun. So they come back and, pay the $4.95, but they go full blast and sign up their own goes and so forth.
Well, let me shift gears a little bit here, Les. How's everything going with the bands and all the other programs that we had talked about?
Well, actually, they've slowed down. That's one of the reasons. I'll tell you a little story here. I used to be in finance, like I said, as a trainer for long-term care. And my wife is a psychotherapist and a clinical nutritionist. And she had been asking me to do something with her for 10 years. And when different medical devices came around that I used and got benefit from, I decided, okay, I'm going to get out of finance and we're going to work together. Well, unfortunately, the bands and everything else, people have to really be motivated to do something about their health. Money's easy, but to get them, and I've been asked a million times, you're not a doctor. Why are you talking about this? And that's one of the things I've run into constantly. And so they're there, and I can train doctors on the technology, the StemWell, for instance. And but that's why I've gone back to finance, because it's simple, it's easy, and everybody wants to save money or make money.
So it's still, if anybody has any questions about it, they can still come to you and they can still talk to you about it. That is good, because like I said, there's still a wonderful video on there about how it helps a gentleman who could not stand up on their own, and still want to get everything situated to try to help us out. But right now, with the news I got today about my own impending surgery, that kind of that that kind of puts a little bit of a damper on things. It's a surgery that I've known's been coming for a while. The only problem is the doctors didn't know it was coming until I finally had a doctor listen to me. So, it kind of hit me a little bit different there. But I just want to make sure that people do understand that this Transact card, this isn't the only thing that Les has got going on. He's got so many different things going on. He's got a wonderful thing that takes in and can really help healing. And so much more. And I encourage you to go back through our podcasts and listen to some of the past episodes with myself and Les and find some of the wonderful things that he's got going on with everything and listen to the one with the doctor that we had talking about these bands. You can watch that video of how this person who could not stand up on their own, after just a few hours, a few sessions with those bands, was able to stand up on their own. Strength, tricking your muscles into thinking that you're working harder than you are. Very interesting concept. And it's not a new concept. It's something that's been around a day or two. It's just newer to America because, where things, take a while to get here every once in a while. So, but you look like you got something else to say.
Well, the only thing is, as far as the bands, they were developed 50 years ago in Japan. And in fact, for your shoulder, it's actually used in rehab to make everything heal much quicker. So, and to let everybody know, you can get them for $80 a month, no payment through PayPal. They're $500, but they help. The NFL uses them, the Olympics use them, and for rehab and so forth. And that's why I'd love to see your shoulder once you have surgery. But that's one of the things. And there's the stem well, which is the biggie. People with back problems are finding, Dr. DeBrincat himself was in a wheelchair for 6 years, and he has had no movement in his back. And he's now, after 10 sessions on the stem well, has movement that he hasn't had in 20 years. But, and it's artificial intelligence for the back. But it's for doctors. It's although he went to a conference in Connecticut, and the people, when they found out it was 17,000, they said, "I want one of these for one of my houses." And so, needless to say, the people with money, 17,000 is nothing. Their back health is more important to them.
Yeah. Well, and the greatest thing about this is that this is all non-narcotic healing.
Yep.
This isn't going to hurt you in any way because it's also all low impact.
Yeah.
So it's very low impact, non-narcotic and very, very easy on you to learn. So with the purchase of all these, you get the training, you get to learn a little bit more about it. And that goes all the way from the Transact card to the bands to everything that you've got working. So just visit, make sure you do yourself a huge favor. Visit 3waystobanking.com. If you have any more questions, 303-579-6881, 303-579-6881, or you can get him by email at les@3waystobanking.com. les@3waystobanking.com. Well, my friend, we made it.
Yeah.
Got another month done. We're looking for nonprofits, restaurants, and auto dealerships.
Yep.
So those would be some great people to talk to you right now, so you can teach them how to treat their employees the right way. And really, right now is the best time to do this because, look, like I said, you can use this card. They can use this card to when Christmas shopping starts ramping up in the beginning of December. They can really use a lot of these discounts to get their family taken care of.
Exactly.
So, well, that all sounds great. I appreciate it, Les, and we'll talk to you. Well, I'll be talking to you on Friday when we try to get this going again and
Okay.
working again. So, but I'll be talking to you then. Once again, contact Les Simpson, wonderful, wonderful friend of mine, great partner, 303-579-6881. 303-579-6881. Thank you, Les, and we'll talk to you. Well, I'll talk to you on Friday. Hopefully people will talk to you before then, but if not, I will talk to you next month. Don't we have something special coming next month? Or is that for 2 months away?
No, are you talking about the rollout of the franchise?
Yeah, that's in 2 months.
Yeah, that's November.
Okay. Well, we're always going to have something special. Let's not joke about that. We're always going to have something special. But get in on this on the ground floor. Hey, every day people should be kicking themselves for not getting in on the ground floor of Microsoft and Apple. Well, here's a chance. All right, they're going to change banking. Be there with them. Thank you, Les, and I'll talk to you. Talk to you soon.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Once again, that's Les Simpson. 3waystobanking.com. 3waystobanking.com. 303-579-6881. 303-579-6881. Geez, I'm looking at it right in front of me, and I still want to say 970 every time, but it's 303 down south, their area code, 579-6881, Les at 3waystobanking.com. So I want to thank Les for coming in. As always, he does a wonderful job. Look, there are so many advantages of using this card and doing some things with it because, like I said, the truth is, the holidays are coming up and couldn't we all use a little bit of a break? Oh, that was more about the Transact card. That's not what I meant to do, but you did get to see it. Couldn't we all use a little bit of break when it comes to Christmas, getting Christmas gifts? Look, it's it's a difficult time. It's a difficult time, and having a little bit of extra money to push that along would be great. Thank you, Les, for joining us. And like I said, I'm going to be hopefully getting my card on Friday. We did run into a few issues. We've been told that part has been fixed, so I'm looking forward to getting my card and beginning to save money and spend money and make money on for what we do. So getting you guys all involved with this so you can make money and save money for yourself and help people at the same time. I had a very, very interesting and somewhat of a difficult conversation earlier this week. I have known two ladies in my life who have struggled with certain difficulties that have to do with the reproductive organs and just all of the complicated organs that are involved. It's something that us guys we don't know anything about. Okay. And after talking to this lady in this conversation, after meeting the people at the Aziza Foundation and talking to them, I realized how much of a problem this is for as many people as this is. Okay. This is not something that happens to one or two women occasionally. This is something that happens to women all the time. And they go to doctors. And the doctors tell them, we can't find out what's wrong with you. We don't know. We don't know. We can't help you. We can't. that becomes a serious problem. Then, unfortunately, after hearing doctors all this time talking about how we don't see it, we don't know, what's that do? That leads to doubt. That doubt leads to pressure. That pressure leads to stress. That stress leads to bad things. I met Stephanie through a great friend of mine, and we started talking because she's went through a lot of these problems. She did what nonprofits do. She stood up and she said, damn it, I am tired of this. She found a good doctor. She found a doctor that understands, that is trained in this. Here's the problem. There are so few of them in the States. So what the Aziza program is trying to do is they are going to try to help women get into talking to these doctors, to get them to the doctors, to help them pay the bills, to get them into these doctors. They're going to talk to trying to help get training for more doctors. Because right now she could find 6 people that specialize in this. 6 people. There are 50 states. And so far, she's found 6 people with the credentials that she was looking for that match the doctor, her doctor friend. We need to get these numbers up. And so I really hope that anybody who has had somebody with any of these issues, if you know a woman who's had these problems, I encourage you to call her. Have her take a look at this show. Because this is a show that what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to introduce the solution. Because there is a solution. This is a problem. This isn't something that somebody's just up and made up. It's just with the way doctors are forced to do things in quick succession right now, with the ways that doctors are forced to treat you as numbers rather than patients, because you need to see so many patients in one day for you to be a valuable part of our hospital, of our clinic. You can't spend 20 minutes with this person. You need to spend 5. Walk in, walk out, walk on. Well, that's horrible. It's horrible, and it harms people, and it brings people down. Well, I want you to meet Stephanie. After this real quick break, I want you to meet Stephanie, who I met earlier this week, and she's going to be able to tell you about what she's done and what she's doing. This is a very heartfelt, and this is a very, very wonderful, wonderful. I enjoyed myself on this interview because it enlightened me quite a bit.
Have you ever wanted to hide? You want to help, but you have to take care of your family first. Maybe this next paycheck I can support causes I love. Tell me, how does this sound? You shop, click a picture of a receipt, and pick someone you support while shopping for your family. Well, check out communitypayitforward.us. Hover your mouse here. Click on the Verified Given Partner button and shop with any partner that will satisfy your needs. Grab the receipt because every time you shop, a Community Pay It Forward mission partner receives anywhere from 80 to 90% of a referral. You can find the mission partners by going right here. Each mission has a QR code so you can upload your receipt. And that's it. Shop, click, and pick. Join the program. You shop with small businesses and support great people. Great people who need a little help, or help to support the great people doing great things. Because with Community Pay It Forward, you don't have to hide anymore. Community Pay It Forward knows every small business is essential.
And of course, it's going to do it to me again because, that's what it loves to do. It loves to play around and say, well, I want to work, but I'm not going to. So we're going to try this real quick. Get it started. And here we go. Hey, everybody. It's Zach Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the pACT channels. And I am thrilled to bring you brand new friend in which I know I'm going to screw this up. I know I'm going to screw it up, and I'm going to call her Stephanie Samos. But this is actually Stephanie Berman, who Stephanie introduce? Oh, no. I introduced you to Stephanie Samos. It was Mr. Z who introduced us. But Stephanie Berman from Aziza Project. Stephanie, please tell us about the Aziza Project.
All right. The Aziza Project is a brand new nonprofit. We've only been around since January, and we offer hope to women who are suffering from complex gynecological problems by providing funding for them to see the doctors who have the knowledge and training to figure out what's going on.
That's very important because you and I, in our pre-interview, we did talk about how a lot of the clinical doctors and, emergency room doctors and stuff like that, they don't quite have a clue on what women are going in and talking about. I've had the personal experience with two women who have went in with different problems, and the doctors just look at them and go, "What?" and give them muscle relaxers and send them on their jolly way.
Yep, been there, done that. Got the t-shirt. And I would just say that I want to be very careful to be respectful of doctors, like family doctors, emergency medicine doctors, because they don't have the time to take the time to figure out these more complex issues. I like to share this statistic that American health insurance will pay more for 4 15-minute appointments than they will for one 1-hour appointment. And you can't get to the bottom of a complex issue in 15 minutes. So you do end up with doctors shrugging their shoulders and sending the patient out the door again. The problem is those doctors don't know who to send those patients to. So that's kind of where the Aziza Project comes in. We want to work with those doctors who are living in their sweet spot of being those general practitioners, those family doctors, those OBGYNs who love delivering babies, but then are having these women come into their offices who are having these complex issues that at first glance, they look like yeast infections. Because just one, let's take one condition, for example, would be pudendal neuralgia, which literally means that there is a irritated nerve in your pelvis. The pudendal nerve has 3 branches on it. and they go to, and men and women both have this this nerve, of course, and so one branch goes to the front of the external genitalia, one branch goes to the middle, and one branch goes to the back. And that nerve can become irritated, and nerve irritation manifests as itching when it begins. So women who present with genital itching, doctors, the first doctors they see, the general practitioners, the basic OBGYNs, assume yeast infections. They test for it. It comes back not yeast. The doctor gets confused and doesn't know what to do. The Aziza Project, besides providing funding for patients, also wants to provide funding for doctors who want to go and shadow these vulval vaginal specialists who are solving these problems, so that those doctors can get the training they need to recognize the difference between a pinched nerve in the pelvis and a yeast infection.
That was actually the next thing I was going to bring up, is your guys' work to try to get more doctors, because the number of current doctors is astounding. It is 16, if I remember correctly. Six. Never mind. I was way off on that, and that's really depressing, because there's only 6 registered doctors in the United States, correct?
Well, not exactly registered. I would say, let me explain the background on that number, because we have one doctor we're working with right now in Tulsa,
Right.
Oklahoma, and he built himself out as a vulval vaginal specialist. So I looked at his credentials and I said, okay, these are the credentials he has as he's calling himself a vulval vaginal specialist. How many other doctors in the US have these same credentials? Now, his credentials are, he's an osteopathic OBGYN. I just went for all the OBGYNs that also have, they're also members of the International Society for the Study of Women's Sexual Health, and they're also nationally certified menopause practitioners. Those are kind of the 3 certifications that our doctor in Tulsa has. And so I said, I looked at the member directory for the International Society for the Study of Women's Sexual Health, which I will now call ISWISH because it's easier to say. And in that directory, there were only 5 other doctors besides our doctor in Tulsa who have those same certifications. So I could not access the member directory for the I don't remember exactly what it's called, the International Society for the Study of Vulval Vaginal Disorders, I think. There might be I might have put an extra S in there, I'm not sure. I could not access their member directory, so I could not tell you how many of those 5 are also members of that directory. So that number may actually be even smaller than 6.
There's simply just not enough. I mean, if we're looking at having 1 in every state would be a low enough number. Having, but it would be so much better. And that's one of your overall goals. But just trying to get women from where they are to one of these 6 is such a wonderful mission. And we're proud to be a part here at Community Pay It Forward. We're proud to be a part of helping you do this, because, as I've mentioned, this is something that we have firsthand knowledge of.
Yes.
We have I know women who have dealt with these problems. You wanted to say something, and then I'll continue this statement. What were you going to say?
I was going to say something about, I know, just because there's only 6 that have that group of same certifications doesn't mean that those are the only 6 that can solve these problems. It's probable that those 6 would be the ones who would be the most interested. Now, I have looked at the websites of some of those other 5, and it doesn't look like they're quite niched down as far as the vulval vaginal specialist that we're working with. And there may be other doctors out there who call themselves vulval vaginal specialists who aren't, don't have the nationally certified menopause practitioner, because that's not a part of their interest set, and stuff like that. So I just want to put that caveat out there. And you guys will see me playing with this stress ball. Our doctor in Tulsa has these in his patient consultation room. So I picked this up back in January when we were in Tulsa, and I play with it when I'm talking because it helps me talk.
It is so funny. You guys can't see it, but I've got an old hockey picture back here that I've got all kinds of. I got a couple things. I've got my ducks that I love ducks, and I've got the old squish brains. You know, those stress balls. I've always been a fan of those things. So, but what are some, and I know that I know, Stephanie, you've experienced some of this personally, but what are some of the other things that you have talked to other women? What are some of the things that women experience with this? Why is the Aziza Project here? What are some of the things that you're trying to help women through?
I forgot to bring Kleenex and I'm gonna cry.
Hmm.
Just thinking about it. Like I said, basic symptoms start with itching, but then they progress from there to pain, like literally pain. You're in pain all the time. You can't move almost if the pain gets bad enough. And that would be with the nerve stuff. Another condition I can think of is called lichen sclerosis. And that one's going to cause like tearing of the skin, because you develop like these plaques on your skin, and then that affects the integrity of the natural normal skin, and that can result in tearing. And of course, between nerve pain and tearing, because these conditions can happen in conjunction with each other too. It's not just one or the other. There's another one called the old/current name is persistent genital arousal disorder, and they're trying to rename it. I don't remember exactly what the new name is. They're trying to get rid of the arousal portion of it because that makes it sound sexual, and it's absolutely not. And they deal with, I'm just gonna be frank here and say, I've heard that it's like being on the edge of an orgasm and not being able to get over. And that one also affects men and women as well. So, and that's another condition that we're trying to help with. Get patients connected to the right doctors who can help them figure out how to get there. And that one, that can be a nerve issue as well. There's 5 different areas of the body that can affect that one. One is the brain, and then there's various points on the spinal column, as I understand it. And so you have to kind of figure out where along the spine the problem lies, but only certain doctors who have knowledge of the condition can actually figure that out. So there's that one. There's pain with sex. There's and of course that one can lead to fractured relationships, broken relationships. It can make having relationships more difficult. And then you get to the other end of the spectrum is like not necessarily the pain stuff, but the hormone related stuff, where you have one of the first clients that the Aziza Project helped was a pre-professional ballerina. So she's dancing 8 hours a day. She's, in her late teens, and she's bleeding 3 times the amount she should be. And so that's going to lead to fainting spells and fear of, am I going to faint in the middle of a show or the middle of a class or the middle of, a performance of some kind that she's getting judged on? Is she going to be able to live her dream of being a pre-professional ballerina? So we needed to get that solved for her and figure out what was going on with her hormones that was causing her to bleed so much. And so that's just a little subset. There's, so I would maybe, if I had to boil it down, there would be hormone conditions, pain conditions, and then nerve conditions would cause pain, but dermatological, hormonal, and nerve conditions, if I had to boil it down, those would probably be the big 3 overarching things that we would deal with and see with the Aziza Project conditions. So yeah, and then from there, the effects of pain with sex, relationship issues, daily life, not being able to get off the couch, and and function in daily life. Like I've talked to people who are dealing with this nerve condition that I have, that, you know, they've been unable to work for years. And when they're not able to work, you can't make any money. And when you can't make any money, because the doctors who can solve these issues can't afford to keep their doors open if they take insurance, you get this catch-22 where the doctors have to charge more because they have to be out of pocket, and they have to pay their bills, but then the patients can't afford to see the doctors. So the Aziza Project stands in the gap and says, we're going to make sure the doctors pay what they need to be paid to make sure they can keep their doors open, and we're going to make sure the patients can get the care they need. Because the other problem that I've run into so many times, and this isn't necessarily a personal relationship thing, this is more of a relationship with doctors, is that because so many doctors don't have the training to be able to figure out what's going on, they end up gaslighting the patient, whether that's intentional or not. You know, let's assume the best, assume they don't intentionally mean to gaslight the patient. They just don't have the knowledge to realize, oh, there's something deeper here, we need to keep digging. And maybe they can't because of the insurance issue. But one thing that as we grow our network of doctors, I'm going to be looking at, and our doctor in Tulsa has already, is trauma-informed care training to make sure that the doctors that the Aziza Project patients are going to are not going to continue to get gaslit by their medical providers.
I'm going to tell you this, Stephanie. I think one of the biggest benefits that you and the Aziza Project are going to do is you're also going to be helping the men, because the men sit there and this is personal experience. I will guarantee you that this isn't the easiest thing in the world for me to say. But in one of the situations I was in, I constantly heard about this pain and all that was going on. Hundreds of doctor visits, hundreds of doctor's visits, and nothing could ever be found. And then all of a sudden it becomes one of those things, well, they're saying that it's nothing. And so the guy's sitting there in his head going, what's going on here? And that, like you said, there's already a problem with the relationship when it comes to, actions. But then there's that whole, is there a trust factor to this? I mean, there is so much that you are doing that's really going to be able to explain a lot to a lot of people, because not everybody's accustomed to hearing about these problems.
Yeah.
I'd never heard about it until about 20 years ago. I'd never heard about it.
Yeah. I wish my husband was here for this interview, because he has a really, really big heart for wanting to help husbands who are going through this and help them realize, hey, it's not your fault. You do need to support your wife. She's not making it up. And so, and like, we had this conversation. Our 16th anniversary was in July, and we were, like I said, we were in Tulsa in January for treatment. And when we were in Tulsa, I don't exactly remember the question my husband asked the doctor, but it was, my husband was obviously hurting, and he'd been thinking that he had done something, 10 or 12 years ago to cause me this pain. Like there was, if I had a calendar in front of you, I could tell you when my pudendal neuralgia pain started, because it started the week after my husband lost his job. And so my husband all these years had thought, oh my goodness, did I cause this because I lost my job? And our doctor in Tulsa was able to, like, he looked him straight in the face and he said, Daniel, this is not your fault. You did nothing to cause this. And I think more husbands probably need to hear doctors say that. And more husbands probably need to hear, the flip side of that is your wife is not making this pain up.
I think that right there is probably the key, that more husbands need to hear doctors say, look, there is a problem here.
Yeah.
This isn't, this isn't her being, just, looking for medications. This isn't looking for herself a way out of things. This is a real problem because, and look, like I said, we never heard anything. We never heard anything, and it led to very severe problems. And so when you and I, before we even met, and you were telling me what you did, I said, "Oh, we've got to talk. We've got to talk." And I was at that point forward when I found out what the Aziza Project did. I wanted to be part of helping you to succeed, because if there would have been something like this at the time, and this is exactly what we tell everybody every day, if I would have known you back then, how much of a difference could this have made? And Stephanie, we know that you're out there screaming at the top of your lungs saying, "We're here, we're here. Let us be here." Well, Stephanie, Community Pay It Forward is now part of the people who are going to be standing beside you, yelling, telling people, "We're here, they're here, let them help you." So just to let you know, we love you. We're so glad to have you in our family, and we're excited about making this happen. How has your recovery been now that you found a doctor that can actually do something, address it, and do something about it?
It's been bumpy, I'll be honest. And if you've been around chronic pain for any amount of time, you know that recovery does not look like this
No.
once you figure out what the problem is. It's like a roller coaster. It's like even looping around underneath itself. And we'd hoped that January would be like the one trip we'd have to take to Tulsa, and then everything would be fine. And I was good for a long time. Now going to Tulsa, I didn't know for sure that my problem was pudendal neuralgia. So part of what we were doing in Tulsa was just a diagnostic test to say, hey, is this what it is? And my doctor did so well with that nerve block. I got 2 extra days above and beyond what he told me I would get that were amazing. They were probably the best days I'd had in a decade. I felt amazing. And so then the nerve block wore off, and then it's back to pain again. And I literally sent an email at 6:00 in the evening, my time. My doctor is in Tulsa. He's 2 hours ahead of me. He got that email and called me an hour later. And I'd set my phone on the bathroom counter away from the bathtub. I couldn't see it. It was on vibrate. I didn't even know he called. Until like 20 minutes later, hopped out, saw his voicemail. I'm like, oh shoot. Texted him very quickly. And he's like, can I call you in 10 minutes? He called me 6 minutes later. That's how amazing this doctor is. And we were on the phone at 10:00 his time talking about options now that my nerve block had worn off, knowing we knew that it would wear off. But the fact that I'd gotten so much relief was diagnostic, and basically told him, yeah, it's a problem with the pudendal nerve. And so he gave me options, which we tried one, added a second one in February. Now I'm weaning off the first one because it doesn't actually seem to be helping up, because other medications have since then have made a bigger difference. And I finally broke down in tears a few weeks ago and told my husband, I'm like, I think we need to go back, because one of the options is a longer acting nerve block. And we didn't want to do that right off in January. We'd just gotten back from Tulsa. We didn't have the money for another trip yet. And so now we do. And so now it was an option. Okay, let's go back and try a longer acting nerve block and see if I can get 6 months or a year of relief. Because what can I accomplish if I'm not in pain for 6 months or a year? And so that's the plan, is we're going back to Tulsa in October for a longer acting nerve block. with the hopes that that will give me 6 months or a year of relief so that I can figure out, okay, what are my next steps? Because I've heard that, hey, these nerve blocks typically only last, you go for a series, and after 2 years of these series of nerve blocks, they kind of stop working. And so it's like, okay, what's the plan after 2 years? Thinking ahead and knowing, hey, there's other doctors who also treat pudendal neuralgia who would, the surgeon level. Like right now, I'm just seeing a doctor who can do like the injection level treatment. But we need to move on to if we need to move on to the surgeon level treatment, there's a whole nother stack of doctors I can look at then. And I'm also thinking eventually, let's get those doctors looped into the Aziza project so we can help pay for these procedures. So dreaming big and hoping dreams come true.
Isn't that so annoying sometimes?
I know, I always get it wrong. And so, yeah, my recovery has not been linear, but I do have hope. And that's the biggest thing that I'm holding on to right now, is that my doctor in Tulsa is the biggest support. He's in my corner. That was actually because I'd been gaslit by so many providers. That was literally the first question I asked him in my very first virtual consultation with him. So this is the first time we're talking face to face. And I flat out asked him, I'm like, if you can't figure this out, are you just going to give up on me like everybody else? And Zach, his answer has stuck with me all this time. He said, no, I'm a bit of a bulldog and I'm going to work to figure this out. Now I have to put a little thing in there and say that I'm a money coach in my day job. I help people with their budgets and their finances. And my nickname in the financial coaching world is the pit bull. So to have my doctor come at me and say I'm a bulldog, I'm like, okay, the pit bull and the bulldog working together on this, we've got this.
Yeah. Well, now you got a polar bear who's trying to help you out as well. So
I see that. I love it.
We've got a team going. Just in something very similar, but not exact. I deal with the daily migraines, and I went about 4 months ago for a nerve block in my neck. I woke up without a headache, and some people would be like, okay. That was the first and the only day in 9 years I've woken up without a headache. I go back on the 27th to try a longer version of this nerve block to see what we can do, because 9 years with a migraine headache every minute of every day is something that I wouldn't wish on I wouldn't wish on the politicians of the United States, and I dislike them very much. So but it is true. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. So I do understand, and it's really hard because, and once again, this is all just personal knowledge. You know that there's something wrong, and when you have people who are telling me we can't find it, I know how devastating that is.
Yeah.
And you have people pushing you on the other side saying you have to figure out what's going wrong. And then you have a doctor telling you, we can't find anything wrong.
Yeah.
So I think, again, the services that you're offering women on one side are so fantastic because they're so needed for so many women that are not getting proper treatment. The service that you're offering to women hopefully will take and also awaken the medical profession into realizing, hey, we need to get some specialists in here who deal with this because this is a real problem. And then it's also going to help the males who are sitting there and we're not always as supportive because either we're lost or we're just tired of hearing people say,
there's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
So I think that everything that you're doing is amazing. I really do. I am so glad that you have joined the family. If you would like to find out more about the Aziza Project, if you scan our little fella right here, our little QR code up above me, it's going to take you to their page on our website. Okay. You're going to find their website. You're going to find their Facebook page, LinkedIn, and more. That QR code, it also gives you the opportunity to turn in a receipt from any of our partners, shop with any of our partners. Turn in that receipt from that partner, and then a portion of that sale is going to make it back to Stephanie and the Aziza Project. You're going to be a reason why a woman no longer has to deal with these pains, or at least has an answer. And that's just as important. Having an answer sometimes is more healing than even the pain relief, because after you've been told so many times there's nothing there, it becomes a stressor. And we all know stress kills. Stress harms. It harms really bad. So,
Yeah.
you know, Stephanie, how does somebody get a hold of you if they want to talk to you face to face?
I believe there is a contact form on our website. We've got a basic landing page up right now, and I want to make sure I'm keeping this evergreen. So our better website should be up by the end of September 2023. So if you're looking at this in 2024, 2025, yeah, just know that our website should have a contact form on it. They can use that. That's probably easier than trying to recite my email address right now. I'm assuming you're putting my website somewhere so they see it.
Yeah.
So okay.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely on the QR code.
Yes.
So go there, go to the website, fill out the contact form. That'll send an email to me saying, hey, I want to chat with you about whatever, volunteering, donating, being a recipient of funds, a doctor who wants to get involved. We'll take it all.
You are also going to be joining Stephanie Samos and myself next month as our spotlight nonprofit
Yes.
for the Community Pay It Forward One Hope Wine fundraiser. So please make sure that you mark your calendars. It is going to be the first Wednesday of the month, and I'm trying to pull up my calendar here as I'm sitting here, and that is going to be the 4th at 7 Eastern, right here on the pACT channel. You can watch and learn more and find another way just by making purchases of wine, how you can support Stephanie. And by the way, that's getting real close to the holidays. So stock up on your holiday wine and you can support a great cause. So I'm gonna ask you to say something to the people that are out there right now. Give them a little encouragement, please, on what is yet to come and what you're really looking towards doing.
Okay. Phone is in my pocket vibrating. So what we're looking forward to doing is helping more women who are in pain. And if you are in pain right now, by all means, reach out. Maybe we can help. We have it set up with our doctors so we can send them patients, and then they can say, yes, that's in our wheelhouse. And then they come back to us for funding. And then also to get those doctors more training and medical students. That's the big one for me too, is also starting a scholarship fund for medical students who want to go into vulvovaginal disorders, and helping patients that way. So is that what you were looking for me to say?
Yeah, absolutely. So
I'm assuming you're gonna edit this a little bit too. So
there's no editing. This is all
This is fun.
Yep. This is they get it as we did it. And
That sounds great. I love it.
look, I do it that way because this is real. We're not going to cut anything out. There's not going to be, oh, Zach went they caught me digging in my nose or something. We're not that's just something I have dogs barking in the background. Idiots.
I'm all about authenticity too, Zach. So I love this. I love the opportunity to just be myself, and like I said, play with my stress ball while we're talking, and not worry about being the polished sort of person, because that's not who I am.
No.
I am very much still, I'm in pain as I'm sitting here talking to you, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, how great is that going to be to get that nerve block in a couple of weeks? And for you too, I hope yours is super successful.
I got to go talk to the pain specialist 2 weeks ago, and he flat out said, I wish I could get you in quicker, but but it is what it is. And it was so amazing because it's not a comfortable procedure by no means, not at all. But as soon as he hit that nerve, all I could think of was, oh. And then my biggest thing, the biggest difficulty I had that night, my left hand feels like it weighs 700 pounds that day, because it's in my neck and in my shoulder. And so my hand, I was sitting there slamming my hands against things, just trying to wake the fingers up. It was like, oh my God. But yeah, like I said, 2 days later, I woke up for the first time in 9 years. I didn't have a headache. And I see the emotion in your face when you hear things. And I'm going to be honest with you. I was in tears because I didn't have a headache, and I forgot what that's like.
My big victory story from my diagnostic nerve block back in January was I was well enough from that diagnostic nerve block. This makes me cry. My husband was at work, and I stood in the kitchen for an hour and made dinner and chopping vegetables, and I cannot remember the last time I was able to do that.
Wow.
It was amazing. Like I was literally standing in the kitchen as I'm chopping vegetables. Now they were all nightshades, and my doctor gave me a hard time for that later, but but because it was the very next night we were on the phone with him at 8:00 at night, 10:00 his time. I was literally like Instagram messaging my doctor that I was standing in the kitchen for an hour chopping vegetables, and I was so excited, and he was like equally as thrilled. So,
well, you know what? We're not out of respect. We're not announcing this doctor's name yet, but hopefully we're working on something to where we get to meet him very soon. But the truth is that I just really am asking you to learn more about this. Men, women, sons and daughters. This is something that, a woman may have been dealing with for a long time. And again, there may not have been any good answers given. Here is a chance to learn more.
Mm-hmm.
Here is a chance to maybe give her an answer that can change her life. Because this is something that drags on and on and on. You mentioned pain, constant pain. It does. Constant pain is one of the worst things for you mentally that there is. It's devastating to your self-worth. It's absolutely devastating to your self-worth. When if you can step in, and if you can help somebody get through that, even if you're not looking for the adulation, you can still become a hero.
Yeah.
So please scan the QR code, go visit the landing page, And by the way, if they're still looking at this video in late 2024 and 25, I'm not doing my job. I want to have you back many times by then. So
excellent.
But just make sure that if you know somebody who's suffering, please be supportive and help them out. Introduce them to Stephanie. Introduce them to the Aziza Project. So Stephanie, would you have any last words for women who are suffering?
Your pain is real. And there are people out there who can and want to help. And by all means, if you're dealing with vulvovaginal pain or even gynecological pain of any kind, we're eventually, the doctors that I want to add, I want to work my way up the women's reproductive system kind of. So right now we're working on like the external genitalia, the muscles and the nerves, but I eventually want to help the women who are dealing with like endometriosis and adenomyosis and endosalpingiosis as well. Women who need hysterectomies because they're suffering so bad and they can't afford the endometriosis excision specialists are also out of network a lot of times now because there's no CPT codes for insurance for these procedures that we need. I can get into that in another interview, but just know that that is the direction the Aziza Project is heading. And if we can't help you right now, we sure want to help you in the future. So yeah, there's hope. There's help. There's a doctor in Tulsa who's waiting to help you.
Yep. And
totally stole half his tagline.
Yeah. And here's the best thing. There is somebody out there who can help you through this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It may not be immediate, but it's something. And it's something that can help you. So
I have one more thing to say.
Yes.
Just telling your story to somebody else can help. So by all means, if you don't have anybody to talk to, click the QR code, go to my website, fill out the contact form, get on my calendar. Let's have a conversation. I want to hear your story.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you for coming out and telling your story. Thank you for being unpolished. Thank you for being you. And thank you for showing us how this can be done. Let's work on getting it done now.
Yeah.
Folks, simple process. Scan the QR code. Go to the Community Pay It Forward website. Go to our giving partners. Find somebody who you can shop with for your business, for your church, for your school, for you yourself, for your family. Just find somebody that you can shop with. Grab a receipt. Upload it onto this QR code. There's a place where you can upload it from your website, or you can even take a picture yourself right then and there. And you hit send. And a portion from that giving partner for your sale will go to help Stephanie help other women. It's as simple as that. Stephanie, thank you so very much. I look forward to talking with you on the 4th of next month and starting to work with One Hope Wines and do some great things and getting my 2 favorite Stephanies together.
I'm looking forward to it.
So, all right. Thank you, everybody. We're going to be right back. We'll see you later, Stephanie. Thank you.
Stepping out of her fear, bring me home, out alone, to show me the way. You wanna be a part of sunset.